Hello, this is a new, I guess, series that I'm going to be doing called just TV show reviews or movies, whatever. But yeah, so we're going to review we just watched the first episode of Invincible called It's About Time. So spoilers ahead, so make sure you watch the first episode before you listen to this. Uh, Disclaimer, we are outside, so if it's windy in the back, I apologize, but is what it is. So yeah, I guess we'll we'll start off with we're gonna start off with the end because that
Oh,
I don't
sure,
even
that was
know.
pretty surprising.
Yeah, I figured. So yeah, with the it's legit like this guy who's built up to be the hero. Omni-Man is what he's called. In that whole first episode is just kills the whole
Kills
the
the
whole
whole crew,
squad,
yeah.
so there's this team called Guardians of the Globe, and it's basically a rip-off of DC and some Marvel characters, I guess.
At first I thought, Justice League, and I'm like, oh, very
That's what
similar.
I thought too. I legit saw Batman.
A little
Yeah,
cringy, like, superheroes all together.
yeah. Because you have Wonder Woman there, you have
You have Aquaman,
Superman,
right? And then you have Batman. I mean, that
Batman,
Darkwing
yeah.
thing is absolutely a rip-off
You got a
of Batman.
fish-looking thing, which is Aquaman, and then yeah, and then I think the green phasey thing that can phase in and out of like existence is like Vision almost.
Oh yeah, the
That's who I
girl
thought
that takes
of.
the green pill,
Yeah,
right,
'cause
at
I
a
don't-
certain point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if that's anyone in the DC, but yeah. So anyway, there's this team, and they at the very beginning they save the president essentially. They save the White House from these two blue-looking underground things.
Right, the twins.
Yeah.
What is it?
I have no idea what they were called. I should have probably looked at this before, but
No worries.
they're two like blue, bald-headed, strong things that try to, I guess, kill or kidnap the president. But these guys stop them, and then Omni-Man shows up, and he's not part of their crew or whatever. But anyway, like at the very end, they get some distress signal from the other members. They all show up to a thing, and legitimately, when I saw that thing going off, the very 1st one, I'm like, okay, so it's a trap. Like I'm not
Right, like,
like I
something's
thought
going
about
on.
this,
You
but I
can
thought they were
see
gonna
it.
get like blown up, or like the big villain was gonna be revealed of the show or something like that, and it's legit like they get there, and then all of a sudden Omni-Man tries to kill one of the guys, and then the red thing, the whatever Red Rush, he was actually
Yeah.
very helpful.
Oh
Like,
yeah, he
I
saved
did not
the
expect
first,
that.
The first 3 heroes that were about to die, basically.
Yeah.
But he came in, and then they thought, maybe something is controlling him. That's another theory for the show, possibly.
So
we
that's-
don't know if he's necessarily the evil one yet.
So when he showed up, because I think like the first mention of superpowers is mind control in the beginning of the episode when the 2 security guards are talking. I think it's mind
right.
control or it's super strength, but they do mention mind control, and so that's why I'm like, oh shit. So
That's a possibility.
in my mind when that was happening, I'm like, either this is I took this way wrong and he's actually like a villain here,
Right.
or what I think it is mind control, and he's been mind controlled by someone. I can't tell. So we did just watch the first episode, so I cannot tell if he's dead or not. Like
Yeah,
the
it's
actual
hard
guy
to tell
is
because
dead.
he took a lot of damage, right? He
Which-
fought all of them. And I
Yeah.
mean, the show, that's a way of the show also showing us that I guess he is definitely the more powerful one out of all of them. He basically
Yeah.
defeated the entire crew, took them all. Another thing is the gore. Oh my god, like that was
Yeah,
unexpected. It
no, that was
started
wild.
because it started so nice, just typical TV show superheroes.
Yeah, even with the bullet to the eye, it's like, okay,
right,
there's a
it's
little
like, that
blood.
happens,
It's
but
not
there's
that
not
bad.
much. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden that whole scene happens, and it's like now you're like, okay, this is
Man
this is what it's
crushes
about.
someone's
Yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah.
He rips
That's
he
what it
rips
started
someone's
off
heads
with.
off. Like it's ridiculous because he legitimately like the most brutal way. Like we're talking Game of Thrones level shit happening in this TV show that I really thought was like a nice little friendly. Like I'd heard stuff about it, so I'm like, okay, it gets
Right, like
more
things
intense.
happen, but
But for that first episode, it's legit like even like what I was telling you, I thought it was over. Like when the title card popped up,
that
and
was
I'm
a
like,
little weird, huh?
because I'm
It
like,
just
that's
popped up
yeah, because
out of
so
nowhere.
when the main character, what it sounds like, isn't Omni-Man. It's his son called Mark Grayson, who throughout this first episode is essentially like finally gets his powers, and it sounds like he's almost 18.
He's basically 18. He's
Yeah,
getting
so
it
it's
late.
like his father didn't think he would get his powers. Omni-Man didn't think he would get his powers, and it sounded really like they were hoping he wouldn't get his powers because they wanted him to live a normal life and not really have to worry about it.
That's a possibility.
But I
'cause-
I also think, and I'm not trying to cut you off
No,
here, but
you're
I
all
also
good.
think like if Omni-Man's legit doing this out of his own volition,
Mhm.
maybe he's also thinking this is the one person that can actually stop me.
Oh,
and doing
absolutely.
whatever I
think that
want.
Could be the bigger picture thing at the end. But
Yeah.
I mean, the way I see it is the first way he reacted, because it seemed like he did want him to have his powers. First,
Yeah.
Especially when it showed the little scene that went back when, his son was a kid, and he was telling him, "Oh, you're gonna get your powers," and he was kind of excited about it. But
Yeah.
then when the whole dinner table scene happened, he was like, "Oh, I got my powers."
Well, I just thought he didn't believe him. Like.
But he actually, his wife kicked him right under
Yeah,
the table. There's
yeah.
this whole scene, and because he reacted kind of like angrily, he's like, "Oh, did you really? Like, are you sure?" And it seemed like maybe he had some plans or something. Like something could be going on that revolves around
True.
his son's powers.
I mean, he does legitimately say like, it's like this changes plans. This changes everything.
This changes everything. Yeah.
Which I'm kind of interested. So like we were talking about, Omni-Man does. He kills all 7 of them, all 6 of them. So like they're dead.
The whole
like
Guardians,
full.
yeah.
And he honestly, after the Red Rush dies, he wipes them out very easily. But he does. Well, I guess the stretchy thing stopped him a little. But there was the what's it called? Oh, he took a lot of damage, more so than what I thought, because I thought he was invincible. Sorry about the dogs.
Yeah.
But I thought he was invincible, like legit, because like, I mean, he tells this kid that, but it looks like he can die, like he can be beaten up. It looks like.
Are you talking about the kid or the
Omni-Man?
His
Omni-Man.
Oh yeah, his father took a lot of damage.
But he's fully from Viltrum.
That's
so,
it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole different planet, and I mean, I guess the way the show introduces it is they're basically all very powerful there.
Yeah,
And they're
it's like
supposed
Krypton.
to send them out.
Yeah.
They send out individuals to protect other planets. So that's what his father is there for Earth.
It's almost like, I suppose, Krypton combined with the Green Lantern Corps, where it's like they're from this other planet, but they're going out and trying to help people and humanity and all that. At least from what we know, it could legitimately be they're trying to conquer us.
But I guess the question is, if he is the most powerful, then I guess he would be the villain. I feel the way you should figure it out, right, is if he's not the most powerful, then perhaps there is this bigger villain that was controlling him.
Yeah.
But if the show tries to set it up in a way that, there's this Viltrum planet and he's on top of all the superheroes, he's just the best one, well then I guess the question is, I guess this took a turn.
Yeah, well, because that legitimately, like we were saying, like, either someone else from his planet has to come and stop him, or his son can stop him, but his son's only half Viltrum, because his
human,
mom
yeah.
is human. And so that's like, is he even powerful enough to really stop him? But that, so that's definitely an interesting kind of idea. I wasn't expecting that. At least in this episode, I just wasn't expecting him to be to go around killing people.
Yeah, I mean that whole
Like
ending was
that-
just a huge
yeah.
plot twist. And
But yeah.
I think it gave the show its originality though. It was because at first,
Yes.
when it did start, it does look good.
It's
so
a rip
far,
off of
but it seemed
the
right,
Justice
right.
League.
It seemed a little too
Yeah.
too familiar.
Yeah.
But then when that whole thing happened, it was kind of like, okay, now it could be interesting, could be something darker than we expected. That's another thing. I do think that maybe as the show goes on, it might get darker, just because of what happened there at the end.
Yeah.
And it
No,
might try to
definitely.
show
I
some
think it
signs.
can only get darker from here. Like I like maybe not maybe the next episode's a little like, oh, like kind of getting there, but I definitely think, because I think there's 8 episodes in the
I believe so.
in this season. So yeah, I definitely think it's gonna get.
It's
a lot
also
darker.
pretty serious. There's a lot of like serious dialogue in there.
Even the very first conversation is pretty
Yeah,
serious.
it
They
was
talk about
the
like
whole thing
the
about-
kid having like drug use and not really having a father and all this, and they're gonna take him to, like, he finally got out of that, and the only way through is to go through. So that's kind of what it sounded like he was talking about, and now he's
Right.
actually on the other side. So yeah, no, it starts off with a very serious conversation, and then immediately erupts into chaos. But yeah, and then the only other thing was kind of as it was going on, I started getting almost like Spider-Man vibes, like Peter Parker, where it's like great power comes great responsibility.
Right, it's like a journey.
But I was thinking, it's like, does it? Like, you don't have to. okay, he has these superpowers, but he can control them, so it doesn't really mean that he has to do anything. Like, just because you have powers doesn't mean you can still be normal. You can still kind of relax.
Absolutely.
Because it's not like he's the Hulk. Like, the Hulk
Right,
wasn't
where
able to
you don't
control
have
it.
much option at
Yeah,
that point.
exactly. But since he can control his powers, to me, it's like, he was almost saying, like, he was like torn between two worlds, because for the longest time he wants to be his father. He
Mhm.
wants to live up to his father, but it's legit. It's like what they say. It's like never meet your heroes, right? Or
That's
never
true,
never like
right?
truly
Because
meet your heroes.
you
So
might.
if Omni Man's doing this on his own, then I don't know. Maybe his plans for his son were something possibly nefarious, and he just wasn't hoping he would have to do them because he wouldn't have powers. But we will we'll see.
I guess that's
But
something we'll start seeing in the next episodes.
yeah, because even because when he's talking with his mom outside and calls her like a boring, ordinary person, he's basically like, I want to be normal. I like kind of in a way. I might be totally misreading what happened, but it almost
Oh,
sounded
really?
like he was saying like, obviously he wanted to be his father because he had these powers, because he knew he was gonna have these powers,
Hmm.
but it almost sounded like he was like, I wish I could also just be here with you, like as a normal
Oh, that's
person
interesting.
almost.
I got that vibe a little bit as well, but I think it definitely does seem like he really wants to be a superhero, right? Like it portrays that, oh, as a kid he's had this ambition and he wants to be like his father. But I think at that scene actually, what I saw at least is doubt more than
Mm,
anything. Perhaps
true.
he wanted to, but
He doesn't feel like he
he
can.
doesn't feel like he can because
Okay.
his father is this like almighty
He
powerful
also he does
being.
break down too, and it's like,
Yeah.
I can do this. Let me prove to you that I
After
can
he
do
punches,
this.
because his dad, right? There's a whole
Because
scene.
he got hurt.
He got
Yeah.
hurt.
He wasn't expecting to get hurt because he's invincible. But yeah, that's yeah. So I mean, that it's a very interesting character to follow, because it's like, it almost does seem like he comes from a somewhat privileged like position, but he also, like, what he wants to do is help people, or at least what he
Definitely.
thinks is helping people.
Right.
Like, because it also kind of the question arises where it's like, why does he want to be a superhero? Why did he want his powers? Just because his dad
Well,
was a
that's what
superhero?
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That at least that's what
But then, is that really noble to like just want to be a even though he saved people's lives in this episode, or like
because
caught
he was
bad guys, I
angry.
should say.
Because he was angry.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But it's like, is that a reason to want to be a superhero and have these powers? Like, I don't know. That I'm not
That's
saying
an
it's
interesting
not,
question.
but I'm not saying it is either. To be
Right.
like, it's not really a noble thing in my opinion, of why he wants to save people's lives.
Well, I think to me it's also perhaps the show is showing a little signs of how just growing up and having these problems as a human being or just any
Mm.
other person in general, of you're growing up and you all of a sudden have this option of choice.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can choose what you want to do, and there's this kid and he's seeing his dad, right, do all these amazing things. That's all he wants to do.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden he finally gains his powers, and now he's like, okay, well now I either go all in and actually do all this, or I guess what, I retract and just go to my human side perhaps and
Yeah.
live the ordinary life.
Which to him, it almost seems like he does not have that option to be normal anymore. Which is
I
why
think
I was
his dad is
saying,
pushing it a little bit too.
yeah. Well, that's because that's why I was saying, it's like, to me he could just be normal, but it almost seems to him, because obviously he looks up to his dad so much too,
Right.
where it's like, and it's kind of interesting, because as that was going, and as I was kind of thinking about that question of like, why do you want to do this? Is it just because your dad wants to, like, is doing
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Doesn't necessarily want you to do it, but is doing it, and you want to be like him. Kind of got me thinking of just like, just in general, like, it's a great allegory to kind of, that later high school stage where you're trying to figure out kind of, oh, what college do I want to go to? Where do I want to go? And that's kind of where he is too, because it seems like he's a senior in high school. And so he's kind
Right.
of like, what do I want to do with myself? Like, what do I want to do in my future? And for him, it's exactly like being like his dad.
Hero, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
being a hero.
He is also very. It showed at least he has a lot of comics, right? So maybe
Yeah,
it's not
he's
even like his
obsessed with
dad,
it
but he's also
almost.
obsessed with the whole like career of
Yeah.
all the superheroes. So it does seem like he would want to go into that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how the whole thing is gonna play out with his dad, right?
Definitely. No, especially if it's him, if it's Omni Man doing that, if it's like, if he isn't being mind controlled, if he's just doing it, then it's like,
Or he's the villain of the story then.
that we know of, yeah.
Unless
But it
the
legitimately seems
heroes
like
are
he would
doing
be.
something.
it really doesn't seem like they
No,
are.
it doesn't
though.
at all.
But you could be right. But if they were doing stuff like I don't know, because obviously because he's so powerful and invincible.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know about that
Kinda,
anymore
yeah.
because that's what I wanted to say because the episode ends with him collapsing on the floor and like he looks damaged. Like his eye at one point was like almost popped out.
Yeah.
Like he's badly
But after
hurt.
how much?
Oh
You
no,
know,
he got beat
right?
up so much,
So
but
much.
so it's like one or two hits didn't hurt him, but like they wailed on this guy, and they still all died. They still killed them all. That's almost something I'm thinking where obviously I don't think they would just kill him off because obviously this is trying to build up to something with
Mhm.
him, but that would be kind of insane if it's just oh he's dead next episode like
Oh yeah.
like which I don't think it is, but he looks bad. I also wanted to say I noticed that the director or the creator of this of these comic because this is based on a comic series and it's on Amazon Prime by the way, so big shout out to Bezos. But
Yeah, check it out.
yeah, check it out. But the creator of this is Robert Kirkman, who also makes The Walking Dead. So he's actually known for like he makes quite a few comics and like I didn't expect him to make this. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up because I was kind of surprised when I saw that name because I enjoy The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead and this are two completely separate worlds.
Yeah, it's totally different. So it kind of shows his range as a writer and as a creator. Yeah, but and there's big actors in this too. The guy that plays Omni-Man, I forget what you said his name was, but he's a big actor, and the guy that plays Art something is Art is the superhero like designer. He makes all the costumes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's played by Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, that's right.
Only.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Omni-Man, as you said, it was actually J.K. Simmons plays Omni-Man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So it's like two actually pretty big. Do you know who plays the kid? Mark.
The Invincible.
Yeah,
what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Stephen Young.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's actually the guy that plays.
Right.
He actually played in The Walking Dead. He's one of the used to be a main character in the. I like The Walking Dead. That's why I'm talking about it now. But anyway, so a lot of crossover it seems like. So that's pretty chill.
Big actors too.
Yeah.
I think it's a well developed. Well, as far as we can tell, at least for the first episode, it's a well developed story.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really
and
nice.
Kind
of a lot of. It keeps your interest going because it changes, right? You weren't expecting that ending, and then
maybe that's. You know what? They didn't really do a title card. I don't remember them actually doing a title card early on, so maybe it's legitimately that whole first part was the intro, and then the title card happens and the actual story starts. So that actually might be the. I did not notice one earlier on. So
the first was kind of an introduction.
Yeah, but
right?
it's the prologue, and
right.
and now you get the story. Now this is what this whole episode actually is
and that's when it goes
him doing
dark.
that. Exactly. Yeah. So the actual show, the actual comic show, whatever, is just brutal gore. Not like that, but you know what I mean. Like it is dark.
That was
like
really
it's
cool.
twist.
It was well executed. I would say action.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
no.
At least
And they use their powers in ways that I didn't think that they really would. The only thing I think is if Red Rush kind of just stayed as a support character and like just moved them away instead of actually trying to attack him. Because the only way he got killed was he attacked him and got captured. So,
right.
And then died, crushed his skull. But yeah. Anyway, that's yeah, no.
It was a wild episode.
It was, and I'm really excited to see what the second episode's gonna be. I don't know if you have anything that kind of covers what I was kind of thinking about the episode. I don't know if you have anything.
I mean, I just really like the.
I can't wait for the second one.
Yeah, I think it's cool in terms of you don't expect much of what happened in a cartoon version of it.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I don't watch much anime, so I mean
Me
the things
neither.
that I had to compare it to were just like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just some
exactly.
things I watched as a kid.
Avatar
and that was
Pokemon,
just completely,
that type of stuff.
it's a different thing.
Yeah, no, because and this is a conversation for another time, but even Avatar kind of has its darker tones as it goes on, but this switched like immediately. Like,
it was fast.
Yeah, and I think even like the grading of the color, like because that last part after the title card is all darker grading.
It was much darker.
Yeah,
it was
versus
pretty light.
Exactly, because it's like, oh, look at the
first.
sky, the sun. Even when it was night outside in the beginning stuff, even when it was night, it was still a lighter tone to it.
And there was a good bit of comedy. And that comedy, all of a sudden, after that title, and when they were all called, it kind of ended.
Yeah. Another thing is the music is insane too. Or not insane, but they chose good songs. You know, that fit the moment.
Yeah, the soundtrack is.
Yeah. The sound. That's what I mean. The soundtrack. Yeah. The soundtrack's good on it because I don't think they like make their own music or anything, but like the soundtrack on it is good.
No, I think those are songs made, but good choices.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, this is this is where we'll wrap it up for the first episode of
Yeah, I guess this
Invincible.
will sum it up.
Yeah, and can't wait for the second one. We'll
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
see what
excited.
happens,
I'm
man.
excited to
But
watch
we'll
the
we'll
second
talk to you guys then. Have a good one. Thanks
Bye.
for. Oh, this is Sean, by the way. I don't think I said that. This is Sean Shavakman and Khalil Khatib.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, see ya.